Okay, good evening. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call the Clark County Agriculture Advisory Commission kickoff meeting to order tonight. Thank you for being here and welcome to the inaugural meeting of this group. We're excited you're here. I'm going to do a quick roll call just for the record. So when I call your name, just say here if you're here. Zora Oppenheimer.
Here.
Thank you. Yeah, this will be a good way to test your mic too. So Amy Treasure.
Here.
Thank you. Ruud Vandersalm.
Here.
Holly Hansen. Here. Diane Dempster. Here. Mo McKenna.
Here.
Dylan Haggerty. Not here. Justin Berger.
Here.
Kevin Dobbins.
Here.
Thank you. Joe Zimmerman. Matthew Cornwell.
Here.
Isaiah Irish.
Present.
Thank you. Tyler Berenson.
Here.
And then Talia Puente Fernandez. It's not here. And Justin O'Day.
Here.
Great. Thank you, everyone. And now I'll call for staff. Chair Marshall.
I think we're starting out with public comment.
I'm just doing a roll call for staff
Oh, okay.
present. So
Here.
yes, thanks. Amber Emery.
Here.
Oliver Oriaco is not here yet. Oh, Oliver's here. Thank you. Yes. Hi, Oliver. Christine Cook.
Here.
Thank you. Bart Catching.
Here.
And I'm Lauren Henriksen, also here. So our first item of business tonight is public comment. This is an open public meeting and we are accepting public comments. Please note that comments are limited to 3 minutes and they can also be submitted in writing before or at this meeting. Is there anyone present in the room who'd like to make public comment? Okay.
No,
We have one, Bart.
Oh, you do want to comment? Okay. You can come up here. Sorry for the informality. Say your name for the record.
My name is Meridian Green, and I just want to let you know that I'm really appreciate that you are all here, and I hope you'll give a lot of consideration to food security in Clark County in the future. And I appreciate very much that you're all here to have that conversation. So thank you.
Okay, anyone else in person who'd like to make a comment? Okay, Bart, is there anyone online?
There are two callers online, so I'm going to request unmutes for them, and then they can indicate whether they want to make a comment. So first off, we have Dennis Wilt. Dennis, I just sent you an unmute request. You can say yay or nay whether you'd like to make a comment. Okay. Not hearing any indication from that. Caller 2, I don't have a name. I'm going to send an unmute request. You can say yay or nay whether you'd like to make a comment.
Hi, this is Danielle Cowley with Clark County Legacy Lands. I'm just here to listen. Thanks.
And would you like to make a comment? Danielle, would you like to make a comment?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So hearing no comments online, then I won't read the WebEx instructions and we can move on to the next section.
Okay, thanks everybody. I'm going to pass it to Chair Marshall, who's going to welcome you to our kickoff meeting today.
Great. Thanks very much. I'm just can't stop grinning. I'm really happy to see you all here. The Ag Commission is something that I've wanted to see come together for quite some time, and that you're willing to, you stepped up, you're willing to spend your time considering some of these issues. I'm really grateful to you all. I am going to just say a little bit about myself and then talk a little bit about how this came into being, and then we'll proceed with the rest of the meeting. I think everybody will get a chance to say a little bit about themselves and their experience with agriculture in Clark County. So I represent District 5, which geographically is the northern half of Clark County. So it takes up most all of the rural area. My husband and I moved out to Clark County in 2015 to take over our family farm, which has been in the family since 1960. We didn't really have a clear succession plan, and so it took a couple years to figure things out. Happy to be out here. I came in on the last year of the last comp plan update, so I got very involved with land use at that time. And over all of the years, because we've been out here on a regular basis working on the farm, really just seeing a lot of the agricultural farmland base slipping away was really one of the reasons I decided to run, and knowing that we're going into a new comp plan update. So with our farm, and maybe I think a lot of the issues our farm has faced, maybe other farmers have faced that as well. So we didn't have a clear succession plan. We're in the midst of trying to figure out our next succession plan because we are like a lot of other farmers on the older end of the spectrum. So our farm was in a lease because it had been 30 acres of Bartlett pears, globalization. We kept losing money because somebody can get a fresh pear any time of the year. Bulldozed and burned those 30 acres, leased the property out to a neighboring farmer for another number of years. We don't have water rights, so it's dry land farming. It's been in grass seed, raspberries, strawberries over all of these years, and still under lease when we moved out, so we had to figure out, well, what did we want to do with the land? So we settled on hazelnuts, so we have 27 acres of hazelnuts, plus some vegetables, a lot of garlic and dahlias. The Ag Commission itself evolved. I think there had been committees over the years that kind of came and went related to preserving agricultural land or focused on agriculture. I was interested in having something actually in the code so it wouldn't just come and go. I think issues related to agriculture, they're here now. They were here 10 years ago, and they're going to be around into the future. So it's good to have a continuity of advisors to advise the council on decisions that are made. And I want to thank the health department. They really kicked this off in some ways because they had a grant from the CDC. Access to local fresh food is a health concern. And so they studied all of the ag committees across the state, and we just picked from some of what we thought were the best components of all of those agricultural committees across the state to develop the ordinance that was adopted. And I would say that it was enthusiastically supported by the entire previous council, and I think our current council as well. That doesn't always happen. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Oh, so I think the charge is really very broad, but at the same time, I think this is coming together kind of at the nick of time because we're in the last year of our comp plan update, and agricultural issues, land use is really on the forefront. So there'll be a lot of things you can advise on this next year. One of the larger components is the countywide agricultural resource land study to see if that study was originally done with the first comprehensive plan in 94. And so there's a desire to take a look again to see how that has held up, if there's land that has been missed that should be designated ag, or if there's some ag land that maybe shouldn't be ag land anymore. So all of that will inform, in part, growth boundaries and things like that. So I guess with that, I would just, we welcome your advice. The council welcomes your advice. And we are hoping to get advice from this group that would go to the Planning Commission, the county manager, really any of the boards and commissions. So just know that our ears are open. And then I do just want to say a little bit about my role. So my role on the council is a policy maker. So I'm not a member of this committee. So you all will not have whatever political influence I might leverage. But I wanted to keep myself apart from this group. Some committees have council members, but this is your group to develop whatever recommendations you want to provide to the council. And I'm available anytime. Yeah, you want me, I might drop in from time to time to observe. So again, just thank you very much. And we'll see how this goes.
Thank you, Chair Marshall. We wanted to spend a significant amount of our meeting today on introductions and kind of sharing. We will not do that at every meeting, but as you all are getting to know each other, this is an important part of our work together, is knowing each other as people and forming a community so that we can unite around common objectives as our work moves forward. So we have great skill and diversity and experience in this group. So hopefully this gives you some time to share a little bit about that and who you are and what brings you here today. So I'd like each person just to take a couple of minutes to share your answers to the questions on your agenda, which is mostly, what is your connection to agriculture? What brings you to this commission? And just as a kind of fun add-on, what's your favorite part of your job? So I'm going to go ahead and go first. I'm Lauren Henriksen, and I work for Clark County Public Health. So this is a little bit outside the norm of my day-to-day job, but I'm very happy to be here and supporting this group in the interim. I probably will not be here long-term, but I'm kind of a pinch hitter for the next few months. And I live on 5 acres in Cowlitz County. So I have a tiny orchard and a garden. I love to get my hands in the dirt, but I have worked in the past for a school gardens organization. So I do have some personal interest around promoting ag and know the importance of that for our communities. So my favorite part of my job is working with people and getting out I do a lot of community engagement, and that's the best part of what I do. So I'm going to pass it to Justin and we'll go around that way. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm Justin O'Day. I work with WSU Extension. I'm the regional ag specialist for Clark, Cowlitz, and Skamania, so Southwest Washington. And I have a active research and demonstration program at the 78th Street Heritage Farm in Hazeldale. And I think probably my favorite part about my job, besides working outside, getting the opportunity to work outside, is when I can help a grower either make money or save time or save energy, so on and so forth. That's really rewarding.
Hello, everyone. My name is Talia Puente Fernandez, and I am a youth representative. I'm going to be a non-voting member, but I'm going to be representing the interest of youth. And my interest in agriculture is moving towards green sources, reducing our waste and our waters, our airs. I just got a new job, so I'm still learning, but I love working with animals and people, and just excited to work with you all moving forward. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isaiah Irish. I am a mixed vegetable producer on the north end of the county. I sell primarily at the Ridgefield Farmers Market. Thank you very much. I'm Isaiah Irish. I am a mixed vegetable producer on the north end of the county. I sell primarily at the Ridgefield Farmers Market and have a small CSA. That's my connection to agriculture. I've been a producer for 3 years now. One thing I really enjoy about the farm is that we're open to the public, so we get to engage with the public quite often, and especially at farmers markets, getting to directly engage with the people that eat the produce. I've had customers have children, and just knowing that the food you produce is really directly supporting your community is just really nice to see. And I'm really interested in being part of this commission. I live in Ridgefield, Washington, so I am very aware of a lot of the development going along the farmland, and really just interested in engaging in a community that I'm live in and anticipate being a part of for a long time, and just interested in helping shape the future of the agricultural land in the county. Thank you.
Hey there. Oh, hi. There you go. My name is Matthew. I work for the Clark County Food Bank, and so I oversee their farm program. We lease 10 acres at the same site as Justin Heritage Farm on 78th Street. So all the produce we grow goes back to the food bank system. We serve, last year was 106,000 people across Clark County through the food bank. So a neat part of my role is I get to work alongside people who don't understand agriculture. Last year, about 1,300 volunteers came out, and most of those people have very little, if any, agricultural skills or understanding. So that is one of probably my favorite part, and at times least favorite part of the job is, you're training on the job, and you get 3 hours of work from a individual who's new and green to the whole process. But yeah, I think just having a seat for the food bank that's tackling food insecurity is important. And yeah.
Hi, my name is Tyler Berenson. I'm a fourth generation farmer, third generation to farm in Clark County, kind of all over the county. Everywhere from East County to Woodland to La Center, now in Vancouver in the lowlands, primarily row crop small grains. We did have a fresh market, direct marketed operation for probably about 15 years. I currently farm a custom operation, the bulk of it's custom for the Columbia Land Trust on their Cranes Landing project, which has been interesting, trying to open new markets and be more involved locally, supporting some local dairies, feed mills, things of that nature. With our wheat, barley, corn, things of that side. So I think there is still a future for production ag, large scale production ag and commodities in the county. And I'd just like to be a part of helping to make sure that can happen.
So I'm a commercial seed producer, kind of like a contractor. Whatever needs grown, we grow it. We're also involved with the fruit. Most of all the fresh fruit that's commercially grown in the county comes through us. We'll ship about 1 million pounds a year. We used to be around 8 million. It's gone down the last probably 10 years significantly. My interest in this commission is to maintain what we have and to keep it going, in a manner that doesn't impose on everybody, but also to make sure that the things that come into this county don't impose on us. The favorite part of my job would be having my own schedule and more or less eating what you kill. You are responsible for everything that goes on, the good and the bad. So that's it.
Hi there, I'm Justin Berger. My connection to agriculture is I run a vegetable farm just outside of Yacolt in unincorporated Clark County. Why was I interested in being part of the commission? So I opened a farm stand on my property last year, and I had a very, very difficult time being allowed to do it. Specifically, LNI at the state level threatened to turn off my power and made it very, very difficult. And they wouldn't agree to the exemptions that were in the code at the county level. And so it got me very mindful of how all of this is supposed to work. And I guess the rest is history. And what I like, my favorite part about my job is talking to people who eat my food. It's just such a fulfilling thing to know that something that you spend so much time on, people care about. And also, given our location, we're in a rural area. It's directly a food desert. It's 20 plus minutes to any grocery store, and especially one with fresh fruits and vegetables. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Hi, I'm Dylan Haggerty of Delish Farm, and I find myself connected through agriculture on pure joy and the ability to be flexible. And so I do farmers markets and a CSA, mostly direct retail sales. We've been on the property for about 10 years out towards Camas, unincorporated. Closer to the mic. You want to hear me? Okay. And I think I'm interested in the participation just kind of this and understanding the impact of ag, and especially in Clark County, being here now and participating at this level in it, and just trying to witness whatever might come of this and being a part of that. And my favorite part is I have 5 kids. I'm home all the time, just playing outside in the dirt.
Hi, I'm Mo McKenna with Momo Flower Farm. So my husband and I run a 5-acre no-till farm near the fairgrounds. I've been farming in some capacity for the last 25 years, whether through farming or food security or farmers markets. And I just love it. I was raised in a farming community of Wisconsin, and we chose to move to the Pacific Northwest because of the long growing season. And we chose Clark County because of the fantastic soils and climate here. And when we moved here, we were surprised that there wasn't a more vibrant agricultural system here, really food system, and a really strategy around preserving farmland. And so I got involved. And I would say my favorite part of farming is really similar to what other people have said, just really connecting people to it. I was told twice in the last week that my flowers didn't look real, that people thought they were fake. So I was like, oh no, they're real. So that's fun to bring kind of joy and connection for folks into the work that we get to do.
Hi, my name is Diane Dempster, and I moved to Clark County about 6 years ago. I retired from Charlie's Produce, where I was a produce buyer and salesperson. My job there was to connect farmers with setting them up for a wholesale market. So I've been working with farmers all over the state for my whole career. And what I like most about it is finding the connections and getting people connected with the local produce and what they can eat, because I think it's really important. I noticed that in this county, there's kind of a lack of market options for many growers, and I think that's I'm really interested in providing more economic development for this area, and I think there's a lot of opportunities, and I'm pretty excited about doing that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Holly Hansen. I am not a farmer. I'm a business person. I own and operate the Second Mile Marketplace, which is a commercial kitchen, and the Second Mile Food Hub, where we connect farmers with makers with eaters. And that said is my favorite part of my job, is making those connections. And like Diane said, developing sales opportunities, wholesale retail opportunities for farmers. and for the public to have real fresh food. Thank you.
My name is Ruud Vandersalm, General Manager of Vandersalm Bulb Farm, or Vandersalm Farms, Our American Roots. Third generation bulb farmer, now perennial farmer, mostly. We've been in the northwest corner of Clark County since November 1980. What brought me here was I was asked, and I feel like, to do something for the community, and being an ag in Clark County, there's not a whole lot of us. So, and definitely us needing to exist near communities, that's also high on my list. I see that challenge, that struggle in the Netherlands a lot, where population density is much higher. But if we look at how much our population density has increased the last 20 years, it's here too. My favorite thing about agriculture is tractors. My second favorite thing is just the variety, the crops, the seasons, dealing with different customers, from the farmers markets to, mid-sized nurseries in Tennessee. So and even sometimes the weather.
My name is Amy Treasure, and I am with a small farm in Brush Prairie my husband and I own. We sell direct to market meats, pasture raised pork, chicken, beef, turkeys. And my favorite part is being outside and working with the animals and sharing with people where their food comes from and how it's raised. I guess that's a big reason why I'm here, is to help people understand where their food comes from. And if they don't do something to keep farmland alive, then they won't understand where their food comes from.
Hi, I'm Zora Oppenheimer, Executive Director of Clark Conservation District. My connection to agriculture is that the Conservation District works to conserve natural resources, and a big part of that in Clark County is agriculture. So my staff have been out to many of your farms, or maybe if they haven't, you've rented some of our poultry equipment or manure spreader. We also work in forestry and water quality, other areas. It's not just ag, but ag is a huge part, partially because ag is so much a part of Clark County's identity. We also, in Clark County, I like to spew these facts because a lot of people don't know them. We have the third highest number of farms in the state, and we have the highest farm density in the state of any county. And I think those are impressive statistics. I'm interested in being part of this commission because my predecessor, Denise Smee, was really involved in trying to get something like this developed. And I sort of took a little bit of the reins, not the reins, but a small part of it. And I think having the Conservation District here as another government agency who can help agriculture is a benefit. A favorite part of my job, I have a lot of them, but I love being able to help natural resources and also help producers, whether it's forestry, ag, whatever, do things more efficiently. We can help pay for things, and it helps the natural resources all in one. It's so rewarding to be able to pay for something that helps you guys do work in less time and also helps natural resources. And I also really love how nimble the Conservation District can be in our work. So thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Any staff want to say any words? Okay. I'm
Would you like to share your farming experience or what you like best about your jobs?
That's okay.
Well,
Okay.
hello, everyone. My name is Oliver Ojiakam. Some people have difficulty pronouncing my last name, so I just say call me Oliver. I have been with the county for well, actually since 1989. That's a long time. And I have been part of the discussion about issues relating to land use. I am currently the Clark County Community Planning Director, and we are staffed to develop 20-year plan or growth plan for the county following the passage of the Growth Management Act. So I am just happy to working with the council in the formulation, and I just want also give a shout out to Amber, the Deputy County Manager, for working with the council to form this agricultural commission. Some will say that it's been long in the making. So we are here just to assist you to the best we can. Our job is really to work with the council to develop policy. That's really what we do. What do I like about my job? Listening to both property owners, trying to find a way to help the council in balancing many interests that are out there. We get many of them, many stakeholders in what we do, just trying to find a way to not necessarily reach a compromise, but a policy that we can live with, at least going forward. We're always required to plan for 20 years, both for rooftops and for jobs accompanying that. And rooftop means, of course, housing. So you could imagine since 1990 to now, when I first came to Clark County, there were like less than 250,000 people. Now we're over 530, and we are now planning for 700 plus by 2045. So I'll leave it there, but our role is to help, like a commission like this, guide you. We don't make the decision. We take your recommendation to Planning Commission and Council. They make the final decision. Typically, I will blame them when I go back to my desk.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Oliver, that was a good introduction because I'm going to pass it right back to you again. You have in front of you the ordinance that established the Agriculture Commission. I want to particularly draw your attention to pages 2 and 3, which go over kind of the function and purpose, just to ground us all in what we're doing together. Yes.
I would just say Joe Zimmerman just came in, so maybe if we could just pause for him to do a little introduction. Sorry, catch your breath there, Joe. And if you could just tell us, what do you have to respond to? Your connection to agriculture. Why are you interested in being a part of this commission? And what's the favorite part of your job?
Yeah. Hello. My name is Joe Zimmerman. I'm part of Busy Farms in Brush Prairie. Connection to agriculture is I'm a 5th generation farmer, in Southwest Washington. Why are you interested in being part of this commission? I have a deep-seated tie and history to agriculture in Clark County, and I really want to see agriculture become all that it can be, both economically and as a part of this community. That's really what it is. I want to see it become the tide of the community that needs to be, that it's essentially fallen away from, if you will. And it says here, tell us what your favorite part of your job is. Well, it's definitely not Mondays, because I just got done with payroll. So. In fact, 30 minutes ago, I was still working on payroll because I'd convinced myself that this meeting started at 6. Sorry, guys.
Thank you, Joe, for being here. Okay, so like I said, you have the ordinance in front of you. Hopefully you've had a chance to read this prior, but we just want to take some time tonight to ground the group and our function, our essential purposes. And then I wanted to ask Oliver to share a little bit about his vision for the group and how it might intersect with the comprehensive plan work that's coming right up or underway, I guess.
I think this question may really be for the chair, but I'll take it on. The conversation about the viability of agriculture in Clark County always comes up when we are updating the growth plan. And there are always two schools of thought about the need to develop and the need to preserve or conserve agricultural land. So I think the expectation of this commission is to help us not only when we are doing the comprehensive plan update, which the legislature now puts on or revised to have us do so, counties planning under the Growth Management Act every 10 years to look at and plan for another 20 years going forward. So the charge or the purpose of putting this commission together is to continue to have conversation about the viability of agriculture here in Clark County. Like I said earlier, when I first started here in, call it basically December of 1990, I would say 89, the conversation have always been agriculture is no longer viable. We also have the Growth Management Act that requires that counties designate resource, and resource is not only resource land, it's not only agriculture, but forest land and also mineral lands. So, but the discussion have always been, how do you conserve or protect agricultural land? There are what I may call another school of thought that says, well, you have to grow. If you look at the map of Clark County, you will see that as we continue or as the county continues to grow, we are expanding into what I may call the rural part of the county, which also includes land designated as agriculture. So that conflict will always exist. The question is, how do we, as a community, continue to grow as well as conserve our resource land, because we are required by law to do so. I don't know what will happen in the future, but I anticipate that this group will look at agricultural practices. There are some, what I may call setbacks or issues that affect your operation, for example, water rights and other issues that this group might also look into and maybe make a recommendation to the legislature if we can do so. Taking some initiative coming out of this group. There is also other ways that one can conserve agricultural land. Some techniques include the transfer of development right, or you must have heard about purchase of development rights. So there are so many techniques that this group can also recommend and look into what other options are out there to conserve agriculture and continue to make agriculture a viable that it can be here in Clark County. When I read about the history of agriculture in Clark County, I wasn't here, I wasn't born here, but I was born outside the country. But as a US citizen, I have been following the conversation here, looking at the agricultural census, seeing that there are issues that are affecting agricultural practices. Some of you that own land and farm it know how difficult it is. I too grew up in a family that owned farmland, and it's a little bit different here, but we value the attachment we have to the land I can speak from my own experience. I hope that that is the case for some of you that own land and farm it. But that's really the essence of this group, making recommendations to not only to the council, but the planning commission and to the county manager as issues come up. I believe that this group will be developing what you would like to be discussing going forward as it relates to conservation of agriculture and growing the agricultural economy here in Clark County. So I will stop there.
Great, thank you.
I just like to add a little bit related to vision. I think it's important to elevate the voice of agriculture and farmers in Clark County. When you look at who shows up at any of the hearings, you know, it's really is dominated by, you know, the lobbyists and the people who can financially benefit from expanding growth boundaries and doing that development. Not to say that that doesn't need to happen, but I think there's been a lot of misinformation and just a too low of a profile of the agricultural resource in Clark County and the importance of our agricultural soils here. We're considered Northern Willamette Valley. The reason why people moved west, with the exception of gold, but otherwise it was the soil that is important, and you can't replace it. So it's my hope and vision that this will be a group that kind of will provide a little more balance to the dialogue when we're making those difficult decisions.
Great, thank you. I know this is a riveting section of our agenda here, but we're going to move on to bylaws, which everyone's favorite topic, right? And hopefully we will not get bogged down in these, but I took the liberty of drafting some bylaws. The language comes from the ordinance and from some other commissions that we already have standing up, but I'm looking for your input, your edits, your comments, your questions on these, because these will really you know, they're important for governing and the way this committee will function and how it's structured. So we want to make sure it's right from the top here. So you have those in front of you, and this is not your last chance to offer edits to these. So please email me, give me a call if you think of things after tonight. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at these, but I'm going to actually go through these. We have about 20 minutes or so on this. So I'm going to go through section by section. I'm going to give you a minute to kind of review the text and then offer any questions or suggestions you have. Like I said, these have not been reviewed by legal yet. So these are preliminary bylaws, but we want your input here. So I'm going to start with Article 2. Objective and purpose. So I'm just going to give you a second here and then I'll take your comments. Some of these, I'm just going to say on the top, might be redundant. So if you see opportunities to combine any of these or eliminate some, that would be a good thing to flag. Okay, whenever I see people reading, but yes, if you have comments, go ahead and chime in.
I just have a question about some of them. It looks like number 5, foster countywide awareness. My first question is there any budget or help from other agencies to do these things?
Diane, thank you for and if everybody could identify themselves when they are speaking, that would be helpful for our notes on the meeting. Thank you.
So it looks like Lauren and I are looking at each other. Right now, there is no budget. There is staff support, but that's something, if you have recommendations related to budget, please forward those.
I had a similar question. Is there staff expertise at the county on agricultural issues?
Can I still hear my microphone?
Yes, you can.
What section, Mo, are you specifically asking?
Yeah, I mean, it's
as far as
related to like
expertise.
Serving as ambassador, right? We're a volunteer board and we're farmers. Well, many of us are farmers. And so when it comes to like researching policy or coming up with recommendations, right? I do feel like having some amount of expertise at a county staff level is going to be really helpful for this group. Like, what are other counties doing in Washington to preserve, right? I think that type of support feels critical, especially as we're getting going.
Oliver, do you want to take this as far as expertise in your office?
We in community planning have land use planners with various discipline, and I will be making a decision to who on my staff will be best to be staffed to this commission. That is a decision that I will have to make. We have folks with environmental background. We have folks with economic background. So I'll be making a decision on the appropriate staff to be assisting you as you go forward. If there is an opportunity to bring other experts in, we will certainly do so to accommodate whatever your needs are. And in the future, depending on your need, I'll be going and maybe to the council and saying we need help. And even on budget, those are issues that will come up in the future as the need arise.
Mo, I'll just add to the legislative piece. So Jordan Bogey is our senior management analyst for the county that works with the council. He can do some research if it's legislative related. Also, Public Works has lands, and Danielle's online tonight, and Kevin Tyler, who works in our forest. So we have a lot of folks also in Public Works that can assist, but we can, between the two departments, I think, get that together. But our main mission was to get this started this year. And as we go forward, what we need, we can bring to council.
Is there a definition of agriculture in this?
No, do you have one?
I mean, there's a couple different. Typically, it was always food, fur, and fiber. I think that's a critical thing. Kind of gets us out of the horse thing and wherever that may go.
Yeah, thank you for that. We can definitely add that in. And if you have suggestions on what you'd want to be for sure included in a definition, let me know.
Is there a county legal description of agriculture? I think it goes back to the tax code on what you can do on agricultural ground.
I'm not aware, but I think there could be related to, I know with equine, there's, I don't know exactly how that's classified in terms of an agricultural use off the top of my head, but it's a good question.
That might be something to add to this. We have a direction to go.
Right. I don't think we have anyone from the equine community represented here. So I don't think that was the thought that it would be. But I don't know about the legal definitions.
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Bart. We do have a definition in Title 40 of agriculture. In the
We don't have it here with you or with us, but we do have a definition of agriculture in Clark County Code. We also have policies in our comprehensive plan relating to agriculture in Chapter 3 of our land use plan. You will find that in the rural element, the existing policies on agriculture and just resource in general, but there is a definition of agriculture and farming, horticulture, and all of that in our code.
And I will send a link to everyone for those, to the group.
Yeah, and we can integrate that into the bylaws as well. Thanks for that comment. Zora, I saw your hand up. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I feel like the inclusion or exclusion of horses should be really intentional. So maybe it's in the definition and we should go for that. It's potentially a big landmine. So let's make sure we don't just sort of decide yes or decide no, but we think about it.
Sorry, Zora, could you say that a little louder? I didn't quite hear all that.
The decision to include or exclude horses in our definition is potentially a landmine. So I'm not offering an opinion. I'm just saying landmine ahead. Let's make sure we have a discussion about it rather than just make a decision really fast.
I'm just curious for some clarification around the difference between bullet point 2 and 4. It seems like in my reading of it that bullet point 2 is the more general, will provide recommendations to many folks in the county. But bullet point 4 says upon request of the Director of Community Planning. So I'm kind of curious, why is that one on request and the other one doesn't seem to be?
Yeah, I think that's drawn from the way other commissions function, but I think it just gives Oliver as a department head some authority to come in and make a request of the commission that would go beyond sort of like general advising of the county council as a whole, but I'm happy to make amendments to these two.
As I read it, you can make recommendations and it sounds like a two-way street and information can be requested of you.
In question to the develop key partnerships and stuff, what is our scope? What is our authority? What are we to work with there? For instance, this afternoon, I was having a phone conversation with the VP of operations at United Grain. We were talking about the potential of opening a truck dump for local grains to be brought in. There's not a lot of that produced in Clark County, but that would produce jobs because we would bring grain from the Willamette Valley in. And that might be something the county would want to partner on or look to that. So exactly kind of are we just there to make the connections or?
I'll take a stab at this and you can chime in if I'm off, but your scope or authority is to make recommendations to the county council who has the power to make those codified into law, code, policy, et cetera. So you don't have the power yourself to do that, but we're looking to you for advice on those
issues. We can make the connections.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. And if there's a role that the county can play related to something like that, you can make a recommendation that we do that. It's not necessarily something that needs to be in code, but if there's collaborations or something that we could be helpful with or set up a meeting or whatever.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I realize we've been forgetting to say our names. Zora Oppenheimer. I understand all of this abstractly, but I'm curious, okay, we sit down for our second meeting. What are we doing? And who decides that?
I don't know. You can help set the agenda. I guess what I think is most immediate this year is related to the comp plan update and any potential extensions of the growth boundary onto agricultural land and then also, and I don't know when this would come before you, I think that Oliver could provide like a timeline of when there are important decisions related to the comp plan and you can, be discuss those in advance of them coming to the council so that your input would be timely. But, you know, this is really broad, but you all can prioritize what it is that you want to talk about. My only thought is you ought to be talking about the comp plan at some point this year.
And the chair and the vice chair are also important. We'll talk about this in a minute, but roles in terms of agenda setting and deciding how, as are all of you.
It might take a few meetings for all of this to shake out. So just, we can get there.
If you guys don't mind me sharing, I had a night several nights ago where I just couldn't sleep, and I was laying awake at night thinking, what's this going to look like? And I don't know why it came to my mind is what I can envision us doing in the second, maybe third meeting is just coming out with a list of issues. And let's say that we come up with we start on a whiteboard and we come up with 20 plus issues, and we go, there's, some of these are, major pie in the sky concepts and thoughts, and develop a new market for this or what have you, and go, okay, wonderful, we got 25 things on this whiteboard, let's handle one of them, let's handle two of them, and I guess that's how I kind of envision this starting is let's start with an issue list, and then let's pick one or two things. Comp plan, obviously, that'd be the first one to do. Yeah,
you can develop your own work plan for the year.
Just want to add something real quick. I think just that we wrote this very broad in code so that this could be kind of developed how you all, as the experts and the passionate people that are at this table, want to mold this into what we need this to be. And the question on the Planning Commission versus the Director of Community Planning, those are two separate issues I see as like if you're going to tackle, I'm just going to throw this out there, agritourism or looking at some other component to bring or make it easier to be able to use your sides, to develop a business on your land. That's a separate bullet than Oliver coming in as the Director of Planning and say, okay, here's this ag land study. We want you to view this as the Agricultural Commission and give feedback to the organization. So I see those as two different separate, and that's why we kind of broke them apart because they're two separate areas. Go ahead.
Just want to point a clarification. Really, my only question or concern around this one is the difference between upon request and then just the general statement that we'll be providing guidance. Because to sort of interpret it on the negative side, it's, well, maybe there's some things they're not going to bring to us, even though it's adjacent to agricultural.
To your point. Yeah, Justin, I think the key, and I know that Oliver just talked about this a couple weeks ago in one of our council meetings, is the agricultural land study that we're going to be embarking on. That would be an upon request for you guys to review. The other section would be what Joe just mentioned. You guys are going to set your long list of agenda that you guys feel is the biggest topics. And yes, the comprehensive plan is part of that. And that's how you set your work for the year, or the work for what the commission term is.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move us along to second page. And this is, again, not your last chance. So please, you can give me input anytime. But on the powers and duties, I'm just going to go over these real quick, and then we can move to membership. But this might answer some of your question about authority. This is, we have the authority and power as delegated by the county manager, the county council, and the home rule charter, I believe, although we need legal to chime in on that one. We are obligated to provide an annual report to the county council, and that can be, I believe, at our discretion in terms of when that happens. So we'll be asking, there might be timing that makes sense from planning, but that's partly our choice. And we expect you to attend monthly meetings, and there may be subcommittees that are developed out of the work as well. So we invite you to participate in those as well. The membership section of the bylaws came straight from the ordinance. I believe these should be familiar to you, and there's not a lot of room for edits on this section since it's already part of the ordinance that was passed in November. Please note the term limits. We will need to decide. 6 of you will have 2-year terms that will expire in a couple of years, and 7 of you will be appointed to 4-year terms. So kind of be thinking about which one of those groups you'd like to fall into. We just need to set up a schedule at some point so we can get people rotating through. Any other questions or comments on this page before we move on?
Lauren, I just want to add something in this section. We've gotten a couple emails from folks in the community already asking to expand this list. And what are my responses? That request would come to this group. If that is an expansion that this group feels is necessary, then we would need to go through the changing of the code process, which is its own public hearing and various other things. But my response is I want that to be submitted to this group for review to see if there's any expansion needed. So I just wanted to let you all know that I have gotten some emails on that, and that was been my response to the folks that are asking.
Just because I am curious, expand it to include what? Zora Oppenheimer.
It was another agricultural expert type position who was not someone who was a farmer, but someone who
studied the more of a concept piece. And I think that we are really looking forward to your expertise of on the boots on the ground in the area, or you're working directly with a manufacturer of how this process is working. So we decline that. And like I said, if that's going to come back, it would come back to you guys to see if that's something that this group thinks is needed for that. And we can always change it, but it just would need to go through that process. Thank you. I can't remember.
Okay, we're going to move on to page 3, the next chair. I want to draw your attention especially to the election of officers section here. You have another sheet of paper under your bylaws, which just pulls out the definitions of the chair and vice chair positions. So we would love for any of you who are considering taking on one of those roles in this commission to submit your interest to me via writing. So an email is fine, just to let me know that you're interested in either being chair or vice chair. Those will be positions this group will vote on in the next hopefully couple of meeting or two here. So please review those roles. These can also be edited. These are, established roles we have on other commissions. So I just took the language right from there, but there might be specific duties or responsibilities you'd like to see added there, which is just fine. But for now, I'm going to move us along if that's okay, unless anyone has a comment or a question on officer positions. All right. Attendance of meetings, please review that. We are expecting you to show up and attend these regularly. There's a process for vacant seats to be filled. That's, or if someone has to resign, there's a process outlined of how people will be replaced. And then Article 8 is about how meetings are conducted, what a quorum is, the Open Public Meetings Act that governs our participation in these meetings, kind of open meetings. And then we do need to put the regular schedule as well as the annual meeting in here, but we don't know that yet. So we will get to that. Any comments? Questions on this part is not as interesting as the first page. Go ahead, Zora.
I think it says earlier there's 13 voting members, but the quorum is no less than 5.
It should be 7. Thanks. Yeah, I caught that one, but not soon enough to get it in here. Thanks.
And could I just add a quick comment to that? Having the public meetings training, almost all of you have done that. If you haven't, please do it and send us the confirmation. We're collecting those and we keep those filed. That's very important that we can show in our records that everyone has had that self-guided training. And on top of that, that's why you get these emails. I'm sorry about the feedback. We have too many mics in this room, but the reason you get emails BCC'd to you is because we can't have you all talking to each other. And so if you ever have a question, please reply directly to staff. Don't talk amongst yourselves. It creates multiple problems that we want to avoid. There's my spiel. Thank you.
Okay, any questions on that piece? Thanks. Yeah, let us know if you have trouble with that one. The Article 9 is committees, and that may be something we amend over time as committees are developed. I don't know if we'll want an executive committee. I put language in there for that, but that's to be determined. And then community planning as kind of like the role as a facilitator and kind of home for this committee in the county. So any final comments or questions or things you'd want to be sure gets in here for the next draft, which you'll get to review as well?
This may be redundant because I could be wrong, but I think it actually falls under community planning. Zoning, that is something that I'm realizing, excuse me, I'm sorry, not zoning, code enforcement, sorry, that. One of the things we have recognized in, let's call it the last 10 years, is that code enforcement and agriculture has really been an issue. I'd really like to see something showing in there. However, if it falls, does it fall under community planning, Oliver? No? Okay.
No, it falls under community development, but as Lauren indicated earlier, maybe this group will have an opportunity to identify issues that you would like to just on a flip chart, just identify the issues and then you prioritize them as you like that issue to be addressed. One of the disadvantages of this commission is that there is no study that you're now implementing. You are a new commission, you will be identifying issues that you would like to address. So you make a list and we work with staff and you prioritize that and we'll begin addressing those as you move forward. As Amber indicated, relationship to this group and the comprehensive plan update, as soon as the council approves, the consultant will bring on board to work on that study. We will have an opportunity for that firm to come and meet with you because it may use you as a sounding board and have you review the work that they're doing as part of public participation. So be mindful that you may have a firm scheduling to come talk to you or share with you what they're doing relative to that agricultural land study. So, but it will be your responsibility to identify issues of importance to you. Like I said, then prioritize that. And we will be working with you to address those issues and giving your prioritization. And we go from there. I will say this openly, Clark County is coming to formation of Agricultural Commission very late, but it's never late to start. There are other counties, whether you look at Pierce County, Snohomish County, or even King County, that has Agricultural Commission, and we will look to how they function, what are issues that they deal with, and help guide you in following the charge or the ordinance as adopted by council. So there's opportunity to develop a framework that will help you in the work that you'll be doing going forward.
I just wanted to tag on to that, Oliver. this is Bart again, that that is a perfect way to think about the subcommittees as well, because there may be primary issues that the whole group wants to work on. But I staff the Historic Preservation Commission, and the subcommittees are where a lot of the great work gets done. So don't think that just because something isn't a main agenda item that you can't make progress on a pet project or something that is you're passionate about. That's what staff is here to help facilitate for you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. And feel free again we'll keep working on these and hopefully get them to a final state here in the next coming months. We do need to determine a regular monthly meeting time. So as an effort to get us hopefully somewhat close to that, you have a piece of paper in your packet there that I'd like you to take a few minutes now to fill out. That just tells, there were boxes next to each of these choices and they didn't print for some reason. So just put a little check or a mark next to your preferences, write down anything you want to tell me about what works for you in your schedule in terms of a regular monthly meeting. And we might have to follow up with like a doodle or something online to get us dialed in, but hopefully this will get us started here. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that.
I have pens. Raise your hand if you need one. Does anybody need a pen? Oh, okay. Remember that? It's like everybody else's writing implements. Thank you. And if anyone needs to check their calendars on their computer or whatever, and get back to us later, that's totally fine too.
It looks like a couple of people are still working, but while you're working on that, we can move to the end of the meeting here. Is there anything for the good of the order? Any final questions, concerns, comments, anything general anyone wants to offer before we close out?
Will you guys be with us for a while to hold our hand through this?
What do you mean?
Just the order of which all this is supposed to go. We don't do this for a living.
Yes, yes,
We have
yes, we will.
plenty of opinions, but
Yes, yes.
okay.
Yeah, you'll have dedicated county staff helping you with all of this part of things. You're just here to offer all the expert opinions and decisions. And yes, we'll do the back end work if that's what you're asking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We won't leave you hanging, Kevin.
No.
And one thing I would add to that, Kevin, is if anybody wants to get a sense of the level of formality and documentation that we're hoping for this commission, on the community planning website, so county webpage, then go to community planning, and then the Commission on Aging and the Historic Preservation Commission, both are kind of models that we're using for templates and things like that. So there will be a meeting grid. We already have a web page made that will look much like the Commission on Aging, but we needed that regular meeting date. We need some other things to finalize it. That will be live before the next meeting. And so we will have documentation for every meeting. You'll have the agenda well ahead of time. That will be set between staff and the chair and vice chair. So hand-holding and then some dedicated staff. We're here for you. Oh, no. That's something, I mean, when you look at the Historic Preservation website, they wanted their bios and their pictures and all that for each commission member. There's no phone numbers. They don't have emails that are available to the public. You guys can decide what level. I mean, your names are public record because you're a member that's appointed by the council, but beyond that.
Not just their names.
Well, okay. Please help, Chris.
Okay. I'm Chris Cook. I'm the Chief Civil Deputy Prosecuting Attorney for the county, and I've worked in growth management and in work both in Washington and in Oregon for 33 years now, something like that. So public records is basically any kind of record you make, whether it's a writing or a social media post or an email or a recording that concerns the business of the public body that you are serving on. And it is one of your obligations as a person serving on this public body to retain your public records, and if somebody asks for them, we will be after you to provide them in the first place, or in the second place, to search where your records might be and say in a notarized document, I've searched and I don't have any. So one thing I would strongly advise you, if you're using your personal email to communicate regarding the commission, get yourself a folder, make a folder and put every single email that you get or send into that folder, because you don't want to have to go looking through months of all your emails. And this is it's a pretty serious obligation for local governments in Washington. We take it very seriously. And so please remember that that is part of your service. I've signed a few of those, I looked through my email, didn't have any things myself. And just, so make it easy.
But Kevin, to your question, we're not posting your email online nor your phone number for people to contact. So just wanted to clarify that.
No, but I appreciate what you said, Chris. And on top of that, several of the historic commissioners and I think also some planning commissioners have just created dedicated Gmail accounts or other things with maybe their last name and Ag Commission or something like that behind it. You can do that, get that to us, and then all communication will go through that. And whatever email that we started with will quit using that. And that makes it dedicated and much, much easier. In fact, we'd probably prefer that, but that's up to you if you want to do it that way.
Go ahead, Zora.
Do we get snacks?
If only there were a budget for this commission.
Maybe we could do like a snack sign up or something. We rotate.
I was gonna bring berries until I saw that I was late.
Cookies make everything better. Did you have a comment, Sue?
I like that idea of a snack sign up.
Okay, so a reminder to complete your open government training. That will cover much of what Christy was talking about. So you can be on the up and up there. And I am wondering if there's a motion to adjourn.
Are there any other questions?
I think we asked that already. Any final comments before? Okay. So we'll practice our Robert's rules here for the first time. And I can't make the motion because I'm not a member of the commission. Can anyone make a motion to?
It's Mo McKenna. I move to adjourn.
Okay.
I'd second.
Okay.
Third.
Wonderful. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, we have to vote. It can be an acclamation vote for something
Learning
like
too, everybody. Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? But we are adjourned.
Thank you all. Appreciate it very much.